Hello, agentpreneurs, and welcome to today's episode of the Daily List Report. As always, we're trying to bring you the most amazing guests from across the country in real estate, technology, video creation, marketing, social media, you name it. Today is no exception. We've got Jackson Wilkey coming on. He is a broker at eXp Realty, but he has really turned into quite a prolific YouTuber, and there's a lot that we're going to learn from him today. While I've got you here, I've got a couple things up on the screen right now. One is channeljunkies.com. That's his website, so definitely check that out. All these links are going to be below. We're going to be talking about a couple different YouTube channels today. First one is Channel Junkies. This is where he teaches agents about how to leverage YouTube in really powerful ways for lead generation. And then we're going to talk a little bit probably about this one, which is living in Portland, Oregon specifically. And this is a regional regional YouTube channel with very regional specific content that's actually done quite well. And then if you want to, links below, you can definitely check them out on Instagram as well at jacksonw_youtuber.com. That was a mouthful, right? Everyone's got lots of places to be, but we're going to learn how to make that effective and efficient. So without further ado, let's bring Jackson on. Jackson, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Mom, man. The funny part is, yes, I'm a broker, but I've only closed 2 deals. I have been able to leverage, referrals. And so with that being said, yes, we've closed over $80 million in sales in the last 14 months, all from YouTube, 100% free. So yes, I've learned how to bring in the business, and then I get agents closing those deals. YouTube's just an absolute game changer.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Jackson, why don't we start here? Why don't you give a little bit of a background on yourself? How did you get into the business? How did you get into YouTube?
Yeah, so I'm originally really blue collar. I'm from North Idaho, and grew up, in a town city where you log, you mine. Got into ranch work and then journeyman lineman work with power lines. So I looked at that career as, wow, I got to do this the next 40 years, beat my body to death. So that sucked. I ended up moved my wife, 2 kids to Portland, Oregon, had a friend there who got me into escrow sales. So I was a sales rep for escrow and knew nothing about it. So quickly, anyways, long story short, got into sales, was helping real estate agents to get more business. That's how I earned theirs. And I learned quickly, everybody's talking video, but didn't know how. So I got obsessed with it. Started just shooting videos with my phone, editing on iMovie, and helping agents. And well, a lot of them were wanted to do it, but they were all not doing it, even if I offered to do it. So met Jesse Dow, my business partner now, you'll see on just about everything. He was all into it. And then he was like, dude, you're on the wrong side of this stuff. Get into real estate. So I did. And then, so now I'm in Portland, Oregon. I don't know a soul besides real estate agents, so I'm not going to get any business from them. I knew that I could do this video thing. So started cold calling, door knocking, doing all those traditional things, and sucked at it. I was the worst. Couldn't get a deal. Even if I cold called and got a listing appointment, I couldn't close it. It's just not my style. I can go in and talk in front of millions of people. It doesn't bother me, but the asking for the business really killed me. So start listening to Gary Vaynerchuk, be the digital mayor, interview shops, restaurants, bars, all that stuff. Well, I did it. I did hundreds of them, and I got 0 business. I was starting to get so well known in the community. Everybody knew me, and I'm like this almost movie star, which was kind of cool, but it was 0 business. So again, now I'm 3-5 months into real estate, no deals, no money. And Jesse says, dude, you have the go, you have the drive. Something's going to click eventually. I'm going to give you a piece of my business. Just to keep you afloat, feed your family, basically. Just keep on your path. And that led me down, all right, if I'm doing all these videos on Facebook, Instagram, like we're supposed to, and talking about me, myself, open houses and listings, and not getting anything, I need to get my videos in front of people who want it. And that led me down the path of SEO, so search engine optimization. And I started looking at Google and the blogs, and that's 20 years old. You're not going to compete there. But the YouTube space, I was like, man, it's wide open. Nobody's doing anything here. And if they are, they're just talking about a listing. They're typing in 1879 West Songbird Lane. And I'm like, nobody searches that. But when I looked up the search volume of cost of living in Portland, Oregon was 7,000 times a month. And then, the keywords of Beaverton, Oregon and Hillsboro, Oregon, they're searched in Google 20, 30,000 times a month. And in YouTube, they were searched 250 to 350,000 times a month. And it just started clicking. Everybody wants to see what it's like to live in these areas. not read about it. And that's kind of what led me down my path of YouTube. And man, that's another obstacle. YouTube is not easy. It's one of the hardest things. You don't just put videos out there and get rewarded for it. You have to really understand YouTube. And that's when I became more of a YouTuber than anything. And I got obsessed. I know all data analytics, to what videos work, which videos don't, thumbnails. I've split tested thousands of them, SEO titles, and it led me down the whole path of
That's
YouTube.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know, I want to understand something, right? So clearly we want to dive into successes, but I want to understand failures as well, right? So when you say that, you know, you sort of took a page from Gary Vee's playbook, right? And it was like, be the local mayor and all of that, but it didn't work from you. Why do you think that didn't work for you?
Yeah, because at the time you're doing these things, it's really, nobody cares about that. If you're going to go buy a home from me right now, like, are you really going to be like provoked by a pizza joint, you know, or are you going to be searching that when it comes to home sales? So when you're dropping these style of videos in front of people, basically you're throwing it out to Instagram, Facebook, and it's not a search engine. So it's got to be real catchy and flashy. And people are like, oh my gosh, I got 1,000 views on that pizza video. Doesn't mean shit. Like those are 2-3 second views. And yet, hey, I'm a realtor, but this is a pizza joint. It's just, it just doesn't work. When people, like 76% of people nowadays are influenced by video on their purchasing decisions, 64% of that, the number one is YouTube. So people are going to search engines to learn and to make purchasing decisions. So where I see it working more or less is like, yes, your gadgets, your smaller sales of like new kitchen knives or something where you're just getting hit with ads. But yeah, it's just not what anybody who's in the right mind of buying and selling a house, they don't really care about the newest sushi restaurant.
You know, it's a really interesting point that you bring up, and I've talked about this on the show before, but I want to make sure everybody, you know, realizes that you just heard it again, right? Which is, you know, content on YouTube, links on Google, right, are fulfilling a demand that somebody stated they wanted. They are searching for something. That intent for content has been stated. And Jackson, as you said, right, you can learn a lot from this because you can look at keyword searches and you can see what people are searching for. There are services for this. You can do it yourself anecdotally, right? You can find ways to understand what this is. And your job in that sense, in essence, is to fulfill that demand, right? You're saying people want this information. I'm going to be the guy or the gal to create that information to put it out there for them. Is that how you think about it?
1,000%. And then, you know, when somebody searches that, they better get what they frickin' search for. And that's again, when we talk about mistakes, my whole story is all the hurdles and the mistakes I made because there was no playbook. There was no map of this. Like I really had to invent this stuff. And so now I start shooting these videos, like I find cost of living in Portland, Oregon, or these style videos, but I don't know how to construct a YouTube video. Hi, my name is Jackson Wilkey, your Portland, Oregon realtor. Boom, they're gone. They don't give a shit about that because they search, how much does it cost to live in Portland, Oregon? So we have to retrain our minds and brains because all we see is all these real estate agents opening any video saying, hi, my name is, and look at me and my listing and me and come by. It sounds just like a used car salesman. Hey, I'm Slick Rick. I'm the greatest used car salesman on planet Earth. Come on down, send your family, send your uncle to buy it from me. And it just doesn't make sense. But I say, hey, you're thinking about moving to Portland, Oregon. You've heard the costs are rising. You hear there's an influx of people coming. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing all of those unexpected costs, the home prices around here, my bills, a lot of the things that you're going to not even know about when you move to Portland, Oregon. If that's the information you want, stay tuned, right? So now you're like, thank you. Cost of living, all the bills, everything that's unexpected when I moved there. And so that's when it kind of started clicking was now you have to fulfill what they search. And it has to be with a strong hook at the beginning. And you can take a page right out of a blog writer, right? Google, YouTube, the number one reason I'm able to grow YouTube channels just explode like very, very fast now is average view duration. So we need to get away. And sorry, I can talk all day about this stuff.
No, go. This is good. Like, go.
Facebook, Instagram, let's compare again. What do they teach you? 30-second videos, 60-second videos. Has to be fast. Well, then people, realtors especially get to YouTube and they do 30-second, 1 minute, 2 minute videos. that's garbage. I'm shooting now 25 and 30-minute videos and getting average view durations of 35 to about 45% on those.
Yep.
So I'm talking 9.5 minutes to 14 minutes of average view duration. I'm keeping people on YouTube, and YouTube says, hell yes. That's ads, which is what the whole premise of, you know, Google, YouTube is. How long can you keep people on that platform? If I pop open a blog and I scroll through and I read that whole thing, Google's tracking that time, right? And so the heading has to be there, the subjects. That's why you see so many lists, like 7 things you need to know, right? And so that's another thing I discovered is like, man, if the average view duration is so important, I need to not do 4, 5, 6-minute videos. I need to do 15, 20-minute videos, but I have to keep people on. You can't just do a 15-minute video and it work, you know? So there's a lot to it.
You know, I just want to jump in on that a little bit real quick, Jackson, because I completely agree, right? We're totally aligned on this, is that, you know, when we started, you know, I started this channel 7 months ago, so we're pretty brand new. And I think we've done a pretty nice job of growing it for a lot of the reasons that you say. But I initially started this channel on Facebook and then quickly realized that those were garbage views, right? Those were 2-second views, 3-second views, whatever. Their extended view is like 7 seconds or something ridiculous. And like you, I wanted engagement. So similarly, I look at our data all the time and I'm seeing 10, 12, 13 minutes of engagement on a 30-minute video, right?
Big.
That's massive, right? We put up a video yesterday that doesn't even have a ton of views yet, and we're already at 60 hours of watch time. And I'm like, where do you get an opportunity to engage people for 60 hours of their time? It's pretty tremendous. So you're right. The format matters. You have to have something to talk about, right, for that duration of time. Right. But I love it.
Yeah, and the beautiful part about YouTube is that these videos are never going away. So I remember paying like $800 or $1,000 for this video. I was going to get the professional videographer. He was going to shoot this video all about me in real estate. And I was going to get it to Facebook and it was just going to blow up, right? And so I did that. $1,000. Took like 2.5 weeks to get it. Well, it went to Facebook for about a day and a half and I've never seen it again and nobody else has. So how, you know, it's just so disheartening and frustrating to not get anything from video. Whereas now I can shoot a video and my kids are 8, 5, and 1, and they'll be able to use these videos for real estate in 15 years, in 20 years. Like they're never going to go away. They always grow and compound to where as long as your metadata, your tagging and all that stuff is working, these videos, I mean, you see it, you go to YouTube, there's 12-year-old videos up there ranking. Like it just does not go away ever.
Yeah. And I think that's a really interesting point. And let's dive into that for just a moment here, Jackson. So when people are thinking about what kind of content to create, I think that's important to keep in mind. I'll give you an example, right? So when I first started doing, you know, this show, I just wanted to add value, right? And so I was actually doing, for first few months, I was doing headlines. I was like, all right, agents, here's what's relevant. Here's what's happening right now. Fed just broke and this rate change and this and that and HUD this and blah, 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 right? All that stuff. And that's fine, right? I think it added value. But what I realized is that there's so much of YouTube that's in the long tail of the views. And so I changed it to more evergreen kind of content, right? Because what you're saying is true. And if I look at like your Portland YouTube channel, just as one example, you know, that stuff is going to be, you know, details may change here and there, right? But that stuff's going to be relevant for a long time. So what I want you to talk about is this. What I want you to address is this, Jackson. There is, as you said, a sort of format for YouTube. YouTube has, you know, like a 30-minute sitcom, right? That's 22 minutes for 8 minutes of commercials, right? There's a format. And I look at your thumbnails. I look at sort of the catchy titles, right? I look at that hook at the beginning. Can you talk a little bit about, from your perspective, how important that format is?
Yeah, it's really everything. And that's another thing is I became a YouTuber, right? So I found this title, right? Well, then I paired it with this thumbnail that was just atrocious. Like, the worst thumbnails ever. And that's when you start learning, oh my gosh, thumbnails have like 87% of the reason that the video gets clicked. So that was one thing that led me down. You know, the videos that you see now, even my first ones, I've edited those thumbnails and changed them. You can change them as many times as you want. And like I said, I split test now. I have these programs. So it's really important that I'm, you know, getting that title and then supporting it with a good thumbnail. Now, once that video gets clicked, you've got them to your video. This is everything now. So you got to hook them right out of the gate, and that's got to tell them exactly what they get in that video. So once you hook them, then that gives you enough time to put in your calls to action. So my real like story deep down is I start going to YouTube, and then I'm not having any success. And then I start figuring out the format, what I'm talking about, the hook, all that stuff. But I would do these incredible vlogs and these really cool videos, and my views and subscribers are starting to skyrocket, but my phone's not ringing again. So I'm just like, damn it, dude, what? Well, I talked to the lender that I was using, and which is cool. He's still the lender on a lot of these videos. He supports us by spending thousands a month on us now because of how much business we bring him. But his boss at the time was like, dude, I love your videos, but are you ever telling anybody to call you? And I'm like, no. He goes, people will never call you unless you ask for the business. Well, if you remember the beginning of this podcast, I talked about I couldn't cold call, I couldn't door knock, I couldn't ask for the business, but yet I can talk to anybody.
Yeah. That
was the problem. So now I've built this YouTube for real estate. In fact, any sales, I don't care if it's an invention, a product, or whatever, I know exactly how that needs to be. And it's a hook. And then that hook, by telling them exactly what they get, that allows you a little bit of time to say, hey, in this, hey, what's up? My name is Jackson Wilkey, the Real Agent Now Group right here in Phoenix or Montana or Houston, wherever I'm at, all these channels. In this channel, all we talk about is what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, play, everything you need to know about Houston, Texas. If that's the information you want, make sure you tap that subscribe button, click the little bell. And we are literally getting phone calls, emails, texts every single day from people moving and relocating here to Houston, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about moving anywhere in the Houston area, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, we got your back when moving to Portland, to Houston, to Idaho, wherever our channel is. That right there is a script that I invented. You will see it all across the,
That's strong. That's strong. I will tell you.
You will see it across YouTube. We had the channel Living in Portland, Oregon. That was my baby. That was the first one. And now you'll see hundreds of living in channels across the nation. It's spread because I teach it all for free. I'm super passionate about it. I love it. I give it all away 100% free on the Channel Junkies. But that script right there is pure gold. And so the Portland channel took 6 months, 7 months to even get a phone call. I can build these channels now. Like my Houston one is over 850 subscribers. It's less than 2 months old. We have over 50,000 views. We've probably had 125 reach outs already.
Nice.
We closed in escrow. Like it's crazy how easy, but it's a lot of work. So it's not easy. I'm doing killer videos and long ones, but that script is like, it has to be in there.
Let's talk a little bit about that lead generation, right? So that's awesome, right? So you're gonna have to invest, you're gonna have to put in the time, you're gonna have to create good content, right? And are people finding your website? By the way, I love that script. I think that was really solid. But do people then find your website? Like how are they reaching out to you, and what impact has it when they reach out to you? Like, are they ready to go? Like, just talk a little bit about the quality of these leads.
It'll change your life. And I hate talking about it through me. I have dozens and dozens of agents who just like, thank you so much, Jackson. Like, you've changed my life. You've made real estate fun again. They're freaking calling me. And here's the biggest mistake I made. When I started YouTube, I put my personal cell phone number on these videos.
Oh.
Well, as it started blowing up, I was getting calls every day, and I can't track anything. Like I'm not the real estate mind. Jesse is. So get a joint number or something that you can, scale and grow with. They call you and they say, oh my gosh, I've been watching your YouTube videos every single day. I can't even believe I'm talking to you on the phone. You're like a freaking movie star. We're moving there. I got the family, wife, kiddos, 3 kids. Our budget's 800 to 1.2 million. Can you help us find a home? That is the conversation 99% of the time. Hey, caught your YouTube videos. We're heading to your area in a couple months, or hey, we're there this weekend, or hey, we're a year out. They're giving us all the information. In fact, they're so like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking to you. Half the time they'll forget to even say their name or who they are. So we always, this is awesome information, but who do we get the pleasure of talking to? They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited right now. I can't even believe I didn't say that. So what happened was these calls start pouring in, and me just answering them, just, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, this is what I wanted. I can't ask for the business. I wanted to find a way to get people to call me. And they start calling me, and I'm just all these conversations. What's up? Yeah, you're moving. Perfect. Yeah, we'll tour you when you get here, and yada yada. And then I would talk to Jesse because he's hardcore business real estate. Did 12 million his first year. Like the guy is crazy mind business, right? And so he's like, "Sweet dude, that's awesome. Are they pre-approved? Are they this? Are they? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you ask that shit. I'm like, no, dude. We just had a great conversation. He's like, dude, so we kind of went down this path of like me trying to still do videos and close deals, and that's why I only did 2. And he goes, dude, it's working. Get out. You're 100% YouTube. Focus on that, and I will close the deals. He goes, just give me every single person who's called, their information, whatever. And so I did that. He put 14 of them into escrow the next week. So I just was kind of working these people and just talking to them. There's a business to it, and so that led us down to how to actually close these. Because, dude, these people call you and, you know, they're ready, but maybe tomorrow something comes up. So you really have to stay on them. So the first thing we do is get them right to a Zoom call. Number 1, get them to a Zoom call, and we have our lender on 100% of those calls. 90% of their questions come to budget. Oh, I'd like this area or that area. My budget's 450. Okay, well, what makes you say 450? Well, I make this, I make that. Then the loan officer there can be like, hey, you know, actually I'm pre-qualified, and you're more like 400, or actually with the rates right now, you're more like 600. We established that because at the beginning we were taking them, we were Zoom calling them, but then a lot of the questions were lender related. So now I have to get that information to the lender, and I forgot to ask a few questions. So it was muddy. So Zoom call with the lender, and that just, man, when they get face to face, and now, I mean, there's hundreds of these going on a month with all 8 of our channels. I'm not on one of them. 0. I don't take a call. I don't take a text. Nothing. I have teams doing that for me, but they're okay with it. And, you know, I try and get those people all in the video with me at some point. But, you know, sometimes they are wanting just me. But, yes, we get them to that Zoom call. They get that face-to-face interaction. We can pull up the map. We can really almost basically pre-qualify them. Everything is set up, the tour dates, everything. So it's cool how we've evolved all through kind of pain points of growth.
That's amazing. I mean, that sounds like a really streamlined process. And what I'm also hearing is that you're doing what you do best, right? Like you're specializing. You know, you are the content guy, right? You're the YouTube guy, and that works really well. And then you have people in different markets, and you have a partner in this business who is good at things that you're not as good at, and vice versa, right? So I love that specialization. Why don't we? Here's what I kind of want to wrap up for today, Jackson. I want to talk about, you know, where does somebody go from here, right? So they're listening to you and they're like, oh man, this sounds awesome. I'd love to generate leads off YouTube. I'm willing to put in the time and the effort and the energy, right? I think I can do this. Where do they go first?
Yeah, so like I said, and then once I started learning this, I got really, obviously I'm passionate about it. It's changed my life. And this is not like 10 years old. Like I started this stuff like maybe 18 months ago. It took about 6 to 8 months to really figure it out. And now, I mean, I have channels everywhere. We'll easily do, like, I think in the next year or two, we'll probably do $250 million in real estate sales and not spend one penny. So it works. I've mastered it. And that led me to the Channel Junkies. So go to YouTube, type in the Channel Junkies for real estate. You'll see me. There's hundreds of videos that teach you everything. I go live every single week on Wednesdays, I believe it is now. But you'll see on there when you subscribe. And you bring your channel, you bring your questions. So it's a really cool community. We have a free Facebook group, the Channel Junkies Facebook group, where it's all realtors just growing channels, and we help in there. And yeah, we have, I mean, the best, and I hate selling, but I built a course because everybody's like, dude, you have hundreds of videos. It's too hard to follow. Do you have just a playbook? And so, yeah, I built it from A to Z. We have that at thechanneljunkies.com. You can go check it out. And, you know, get onto the course and stuff too. So it just really depends. If you're a go-getter, I have dozens of agents who are just like taking my free content on YouTube and exploding. And those are my favorite ones.
That's fantastic. I love that. Awesome. Gosh, Jackson, what else today? Is there anything else that we missed that you think is important that our agentpreneurs out there should know?
Yeah. So what it really boils down to is it's not as easy as people think, or that I make it look now. You got to realize, you know, I've done thousands of videos. So I kind of came up with a motto that I say it's 2010 ATS. So it's 20 videos in 10 weeks. And then we can dive into analytics and traffic source. So what that means is, like, I get dozens of reach outs every day now. Jackson, my channel's not growing. Can you check it out? Can you watch these videos? I love helping people, but unfortunately I can't do that with hundreds of agents. So YouTube will put you through a probationary period. You do not put one video, two videos, four videos and just have this incredible success. Have I seen people get leads out of one or two videos? Yes, and it's happened to me, but you've got to put in the work. So if you can basically commit to 2 videos every single week for 10 weeks, doing the videos that I teach, the SEO keyword, and make them 8, 10, 12, 15 minutes long, you're going to be able to go into your analytics, which I teach all for free in the channel, and find out your traffic source. So once you can find out, like, YouTube gives you all the answers you need. That's how I learned all this, is like dive into my analytics. And I'm like, oh my gosh, those thumbnails are getting clicked like crazy. Those videos are getting clicked like crazy. These videos are getting thousands of views. These ones are not. And then I look into my traffic source. Believe it or not, this is the craziest thing. I finally start figuring out my traffic source, which is what people are typing to find my videos. And I go to my Portland, Oregon channel, and there is Vancouver, Washington, just to the north, about 20 minutes, right? But it's totally different state, totally different city. I'm living in Portland, Oregon. The #1 driver to our Portland, Oregon channel is the keywords Vancouver, Washington. I said, holy shit. I said, Jesse, we need to get our asses up to Vancouver, because he was duly licensed. Yeah. And we need to shoot every single city, suburb of Vancouver. And we did it. We own all of that with one channel. So get your videos out, and then YouTube will tell you, hey, they're finding you through Hillsboro, Oregon's your #1 driver. All right, we need to go shoot 4 or 5 Hillsboro videos today, right? So that's something I say is just like, you can't do 1, 2, 3 videos and think it works. It's consistency is king with YouTube, longer videos, and just follow my scripts and the way I shoot these videos. And storytell, man, just as many stories as you can give me about areas and why you like areas and why you don't is going to be important. So again, I'm long-winded, but I love this stuff. I know what works and I know what doesn't. So people who live in an area their whole life or whatever, they really are reluctant to talk about something for a long time or negatively. So when you do these videos, the more honest you can be with people, the better. So if you don't live in a certain section of your town for a reason, give me that reason. Hey, I got wife, I got kiddos. So having the tight bungalow living in small streets, it just doesn't fit me. But if you want the coffee shops, the restaurants, the bars, and that walkability, this is going to be your jam. I just don't like it, because I got to have those sidewalks, the parks, the good schools. And so you'll catch me on the west side over here. It's just all personality, right? It's like, I'm not bagging it. I'm just saying, hey, it's not my style. And so realtors come across as like everything is perfect. It's a cute 3-bed, 2-bath house. That means it's small, but like, you just don't need to be perfect. You just need to be
honest, and you need to be authentic. And
sell yourself.
That's if that comes through.
And not your product. Is like, I'm actually speaking at VidFest this week too, guys. Like, if I don't know when this is coming up, but VidFest is like all the top influencers for Facebook, the podcast, the interest or Pinterest, and the Instagrams, and all that stuff. And I get to speak on that with my story. And that's what I'm talking about, is sell yourself, not your product. I talk about drinking brewskis, and I'm big and I'm loud and I wear t-shirts and shorts every day. And I'm selling, $100 million in real estate, just being myself. They just want to work with me. They could care less that I've only closed 2 deals. I don't know anything about real estate. Yep. They just want to work with me. And that is the realm that we're moving into, is be yourself, sell yourself. And that is it at the end of the day.
Awesome. I love that. Well, hey, great conversation, Jackson. I appreciate you doing this. I can tell that you're passionate about it, like, obviously, right? And congrats on all the success that you found. I appreciate you doing this today.
Yeah, no, I love it. Anytime, man.
Awesome. All right, Jackson. Well, we'll talk to you again real soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Well, there you have it. I think, really great feedback, a really interesting playbook. Again, links are below, so definitely check out Channel Junkies. Check out some of the sites, some of the YouTube channels that he's put together. Like, I think the one that we looked at was Living in Portland, Oregon. All right, so those links are below as well. Definitely check that out. Check out the Facebook group. It's good to get connected to these communities and these people, because, frankly, they've done a lot. They've learned a lot, right? They've A/B tested. They've learned a lot of the tricks, and there is a format in particular for a platform like YouTube, and that's really important that you understand that, and that you follow sort of the demand that's being created by people searching, and you understand what kind of content you can create to fulfill that demand. So lots of really cool stuff there. So we're going to wrap the show for today. Of course, while you're here, if you're still here, I always forget to do this. See, I'm a terrible YouTuber. Please consider subscribing. Click that little bell so you're notified. And until tomorrow, be safe, be healthy, be happy. We'll see you soon. Bye.